Hold on to your helmets, everyone. Today, we're hitting the throttle and riding into the world of Uncle Bogater. From dodging coleslaw to revving up to 16.6 YouTube subscribers and 40,000 likes on TikTok, join us as we peel back the layer of Mike's legendary antics and gain a little wisdom from the true Southern man himself.
Lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
Well, I'm thrilled to introduce you to our special guest, Mike, better known to his online audience as Uncle Bogater. With a vibrant online presence, including over 16.6 thousand subscribers on YouTube, Mike has captivated audiences with his unique blend of humor, storytelling, and motorcycle adventures. In addition to his online endeavors, Mike is a proud entrepreneur, having recently launched his own pressure washing business in 2023. His infectious humor make him a beloved figure both online and off. So join us as we dive deep into the world of Uncle Bogater, exploring his adventures, his aspirations, and the stories behind the man behind the motorcycle helmet. Welcome to the podcast, Mike.
Thank you so much. That was quite the introduction.
Well, we appreciate you taking time to be here today. So first, I would like to get started with your online presence. You have a significant following on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. What exactly inspired you to start creating content on these platforms, and how has your journey evolved since then?
I have always been an entertainer, for better or worse. Even as a kid, in school, I wanted to be on stage. I always wanted to try to sing songs or play guitar for people. When YouTube first came out, I think it was 2006, I thought, wow, what a great tool. It's just people uploading, funny skits that were relevant for the late 2000s or, do-it-yourself videos. And I relied quite a bit on that, around the house. And I actually started YouTube in 2009. I've got, I think 4 active channels on YouTube. One of them hasn't been uploaded to in 14 years, but it still exists. I've got another one that's just for music that sometimes I'll upload a cover song every now and then. Very, very small channel. But I've always wanted to put myself out there online to record, bits and pieces of, a curated portion of my life. The motorcycle thing started in 2017. I'd just gotten a different motorcycle, and my uncle asked me on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, have you ever decided to put a GoPro on your helmet, and record?" And I'm thinking, who does that? So I did some searching on YouTube, and here I find all these creators doing that, and I was blown away. And I said, "Hey, I want to get into this myself." Did it for a short stint, kind of got bored with it, mostly because I really wasn't in love with my motorcycle at the time. I'd gotten it, but I wasn't feeling it. 2021 rolls around, and that's when I've been doing it consistently since then. I was fortunate enough in Tampa, there's a much larger creator. He's closing in on 300,000 subscribers, who he and I actually became friends when we first moved to Tampa. So I had him kind of as a mentor. And sometimes we would do some collaborative videos. So that really helped expand my reach into his audience. Since then, there's another local creator here called Blockhead. He's 600,000 subscribers. He's in DeBerry. I've collaborated with him a few times, which helps expand. And it's been great. Instagram and TikTok. I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok. If I record something that I intend to be a YouTube short, I will also upload it onto Instagram for Reels and TikTok because the media is already there. So why not, just spread it out a little bit. Instagram is more of a place where it supplements the YouTube channel or complements it. I'm trying to drive traffic more to YouTube than I am to Instagram or TikTok. A lot more memes and just stupid things throughout the day that I post on there. In addition to the motorcycle, I try to keep my feed motorcycle content only. If I do post some things that aren't motorcycle related, I'll usually archive those within a week so that way they're just off the feed to kind of keep it relevant.
Awesome. Now, your online persona, Uncle Bogater, it has an interesting backstory.
Yeah.
Can you share about how you came up with this name and the significance behind it?
Sure. Well, initially I never knew what to call my channel. I tried to call it Shark Tank back in the day because the motorcycle I rode was called a Shark Nose fairing. And in 2017, a lot of the big blog creators were just going by their names. So I just changed it to, it was Mike Branch Rides for a while. And then I kind of developed this persona. There's a deeper backstory, and I'll get to it. I developed this character on a ride. My friend and I were in Arkansas. We're riding through the mountains, and I kind of shifted into this character for a minute that I called Uncle Bogater. I didn't make that up. So what I pulled from that was I had an uncle. I knew my great grandmother until I was 18. So my grandmother's grandmother, one of her sons, so my great uncle, Warren Morris, Uncle Warren, nobody knew his name was Uncle Warren. None of us kids do because we all called him Uncle Bogater. And he was this little bitty old South Carolina backwoods man, always a shyster, trickster, if you will, always cutting jokes and pulling pranks on the kids and whatever. And we all loved him because he was that fun-loving backcountry uncle. Well, he passed away, I don't know, I was 10 or 12 years old. And, throughout the years, I've named pets, cats, Bogator, or dogs, Bogator, as we've had them throughout the years. And when I developed that character, my friend over in Tampa with a larger audience, Shade Tree Surgeon is his name. He said, dude, you ought to totally just take that name and just make it your online presence. So I hired an artist to get a logo, and that's just been, my online. And it's a funny sounding name, and I have a character, and people will comment and on my videos, hey Unc, they call me Unc, and my wife, they'll call her, hey Auntie, it's kind of developed this whole thing, but I also feel like I'm honoring my Uncle Bogater, that I knew as a kid. So, yeah.
I love that story. How do you think that changing your name influenced the way others perceive your content?
Well, there were some other reasons. I kind of wanted to pull my own name off of the internet a little bit if I was going to be in that capacity. I think a lot of people, nobody ever said like, "Hey, Mike." And some people do, even still, who have been around a while. But I think they like the "Hey, nieces and nephews" that I'll start my videos with. Some people don't like it. They'll let me know, "Hey, it's kind of weird." Your content's not for everybody. As soon as you can own that, you'll be fine. You'll get the audience that wants you and that you want over time.
It's funny that you mentioned the comments and people's different opinions. That's something that both Brooke and I have really had to deal with, is just people's nasty feedback. And, it's like they don't know not to say something nice, not to say it at all. So how do you deal with receiving negative comments?
I am banhammer happy. My friend over in Tampa, he says, don't ever remove comments or ban people. You're losing viewers that way. And I don't take that philosophy. It's probably good advice, but anytime you're online, you do open yourself up to criticism. You have to be aware of that. And sometimes I have fallen into the trap of, fighting back with them a little bit online. And that's really not a good approach either. So I've got no problem blocking, or, in YouTube's case, it's called hide user from channel, which is the cheekiest ban on the internet. If you don't know how it works, other platforms you can block somebody so they'll never see your content again. On YouTube, when you hide user from channel, what it does is they're still subscribed. If they're subscribed to you, they can still see your videos and they can still comment. But nobody, not even the creator, will ever see their comments. So they're just typing out into the nothingness. I think it's fantastic. So, no, I don't want that on my channel. So I have no problem deleting their comments or removing them.
I wish I could have that for my emails.
Yeah, right.
People can send emails, but I never receive them
Right.
if they have negativity in them. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that
But
YouTube.
sometimes it hurts though. I mean, because we're people. I mean, hold on, I just paused again. No, but sometimes it does hurt your feelings a little bit. Some things are personal, I don't mind you're old or you're overweight or what, you're stupid or I hate your bike, those kind of comments, whatever. Those don't bother me. It's when I don't know if they try to dig personally or they make, a lot of people make inappropriate comments about my wife, which I don't tolerate. So, and sometimes a couple of times that's actually prompted, some video response, some of those comments. So.
Well, I think that's a golden nugget that you provided, because I think that there's a lot of our audience who don't know that that option exists. I know Brooke and I usually try to respond with something smart. There was a comment made on TikTok. Brooke and I did this one intro where Brooke was saying, "Howdy, partner," and it was very forced, but it was something different and unique. And one of the gentlemen on there wrote, "This was very difficult to watch." And I just responded with, "What are you talking about? It was difficult to make," just try to be like smart back at him. And then he ended up subscribing and following us just because of the way that it was responded to. So
that's my friend's philosophy and his approach. And he says it to me all the time. He's like, sometimes if you come back to those people with, something funny or asking them if they're all right, whatever, a lot of times they'll end up becoming a faithful fan. That's a risk to me because I have a short fuse and I don't want to light it, but
yeah.
TikTok is the worst. I don't read comments on TikTok and I don't respond to them. I see them, I just leave them alone.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, in my opinion, YouTube is one of the most difficult platforms to grow on because the channel itself is always putting other users' channels in front of your content. So, what are some tips and tricks that you can share to our audience for growing their YouTube page or
Sure.
channel?
Well, we talked a little bit offline about this, and I'm proud of the growth that I've had over the last 3 years, but I do think I could do better. So I don't have all the secrets. I think building the community piece of it is huge. I also have a Patreon that I've got some subscribers to, and there's some exclusive content that goes there. I have a Discord channel for my patrons. And I take the approach of if you ever subscribe on Patreon, even if you cancel, I'm never going to kick you out of the Discord because I want you as part of my community. There are two types of videos that you make, in my opinion. There's a video for your current audience, and there's a video for the audience that you haven't reached yet. And you kind of have to approach what I call intentional recording. Like, don't just record willy-nilly. You have to know that, okay, I'm making this video for the people who follow along in this soap opera, or this video is going to be, I'm hoping to grab some more market share out of this video. And sometimes I'll even acknowledge that in the video. And I'll say, hey, for those of you who have been around, or for those of you who are joining me for the first time, just to kind of address these people so it feels a little bit more personal. One of the biggest tips I shared earlier is make sure the video that you're putting out, if your intent is to grow, make sure the video that you're putting out is something that people want to see. A lot of times I'll see smaller creators. I'm friends with smaller creators. I mean, I still consider myself a smaller creator, but I'll see videos out, and the way they're titled and the picture, it's like, why is anybody going to be interested in this? And that might be a very critical approach, but it's like you could, even if the video isn't something that I would watch, you could title it in a way to make me think, huh, what is this about? And the content still needs to line up with it. You can't clickbait somebody because your viewer retention goes too far down. Though that's probably the biggest tip. And mine is, even though I focus on motorcycles, we're riding, we're doing minor repairs and maintenance. It's still a vlog style video. So, one video might lead into the next, to the next, to the next. So people are kind of following along with, our lives the whole time.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple or Spotify are the best platforms for reviews.
2, join us for our free Friday Zoom calls at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. To RSVP, go to missbiz.com homepage, scroll down to Miss Biz Connects, and click the link.
3, follow us on social media. Our handle is @MissBizPodcast.
As always, thank you for your support.
That is some great advice that you gave in terms of the title. From all the research that I've done, the title is one of the most important factors because it does get people to click on it and to become curious as to what the video is about. And it also helps with SEO as well.
There's an email list that I subscribe to. I know that's so 2000s, but it's called Creator Hooks. And every Monday he sends out, you can subscribe to a pro version, which I've considered, I just haven't done. Every Monday you get emails. It's like 5 videos that did things right. And he'll have flop of the week as well, like a creator that could do better, but the title was so awful that, their views were down significantly. So I pull tips from there as well. And I also, anytime I'm struggling with a title, I'll look at the people that I'm associated with that are creators out there and kind of look to see the direction that they've gone on some titles that have, significant views, just to not steal. Well, I guess, what's the old saying? A good artist borrows, a great artist steals. So, we do pull from each other.
Yeah, no, and that's what any good content creator really does is they look to whoever that role model is and gets pieces of advice. They're not going to carbon copy the content, but they're going to pull the relevant information and see, okay, what are the common denominators that are making all of these videos and all these different content aspects effective. So I think that's very smart. So being a biker seems to be a significant part of your identity. Can you tell us more about your journey as a motorcyclist and from your early days on 2 wheels to your current experiences?
Sure. And that persona has been the most consistent over the last 3 years than it has been in my life. I come from very modest means upbringing. We had a very small, like 130 acre farm in East Tennessee where we raised some cattle and grew some personal crops. We didn't have a lot, but my dad, excuse me, edit that out, obviously. My dad one day brought home like an old late 70s Suzuki 110 dirt bike and an early 80s Honda 3-wheeler. My brother immediately went for the 3-wheeler. I wasn't raised around motorcycles, but I was 14 and here's this Suzuki 110. And I went up for a ride out in the woods and through the fields. And I was just completely in love with 2 wheels at that point. It kind of feels, I don't know if either one of you ride, but when you ride it, you just feel like you're floating. I've kind of used the term, you're in the environment, not looking at the environment when you're riding. I went in the Marines in '94, and because of the very transient nature of being in the military, I didn't have a motorcycle the whole time I was in. I was in for 6 years. I would ride other people's, but I didn't buy one myself. It wasn't until I got out of the Marines, I bought a little Yamaha 650, I'd ride around Arizona. Then I started getting into Harley Davidson. And then when we moved to Arizona, I sold my Harley there to help fund the move. It took a couple of years, but we got right back in the swing of things. Harleys, Royal Enfields, Triumphs, a couple of Hondas. I like all motorcycles, and my content is pretty Harley Davidson centric now. But then I started getting into motorcycle travel back in 2018 was my first couple of long distance trips, but it become a very important part of my motorcycling, in the last couple of years. New Orleans trips to Tennessee, the trip all the way up to, the St. Louis that we talked about earlier and back down. I'd done longer distance trips in the past, but I didn't really care for them. It wasn't until I moved to Florida and leaving to go to other parts of the country that it really was, an important part. And now my wife, it's more her journey, I guess. She never had anything to do with bikes. She wouldn't ride on the back necessarily. It was always my thing only. So I always have to choose, the balance of, okay, I need family time and I need motorcycle time. 2 years ago, she decided out of nowhere, I want to get my endorsement, and she got her own motorcycle. So now, I don't necessarily even like riding by myself too much anymore, because now she's on her bike and we can have a lot of fun together. We've incorporated her more into the videos. The audience loves that. I love that. So yeah, that's where my journey's at now. Having a great time.
It seems like you guys do just that. You have a great time when you're out and about. So, in addition to your online adventures, you also opened up a pressure washing company in November of 2023.
Yep.
What motivated you to start this business, and how do you balance it with your content creation endeavors?
Oh, there's balance. I was looking for some of that. Well, I don't know. I had a bad experience leaving a job in January of 23. And I worked for a Harley Davidson dealership over on the west coast of Florida for most of 2023. We sold everything over there and moved over to this side of the state. I knew when I left there, I really want to find something that I can do for myself. And I explored some options like, invest in a truck and a hauler and be a motorcycle transport guy, because they make pretty good money. Or, I started taking some courses for mobile notary, and I got my notary, and I thought maybe I could do, lease, or not lease signings, but, find closings, like mobile closing agent, whatever. And we get into our house, and we're in a neighborhood that's a lot of senior citizens. And one guy walks by one day and he says, "Did you guys pressure wash your own house, or did you hire somebody to do it? Because I need to get mine done." And I did my own house over in Tampa. I'd helped some other people get their homes done over there, and I thought, well, I'm good at it. I know what I'm doing with it. So I started researching that industry. It's a very low barrier to entry. Some people will say it's a saturated market, but if you drive around Florida or really anywhere in the Southeast or anywhere that has a humid climate, there's more than enough work out there for everybody. So we opened the business, and it's gotten off to a relatively slow start. I think most small businesses start out that way, but I do work as well. I do have a job, but I do have enough work as a pressure washer to provide a decent supplemental income. Balancing that is something that I struggle with every day. Like, I haven't done any marketing efforts in the last week or so for the pressure washing business, because like yesterday and today are my 2 days off from my other job. I had VA appointments I have to do. I have videos I need to edit. I have, this interview. I had something going on with the county that I needed to attend to. So I knew I couldn't book myself for these 2 days for anything. So I backed off the marketing so I didn't accidentally land some jobs, But I do have a job lined up for this Sunday and one for the following Tuesday. So it's hard to balance that. I'm finding myself squeezing in video editing. I'll wake up at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and now I'm editing until I need to leave for work at 8:30. So, but I don't like staying idle, so I don't mind it so much.
Right. Well, thank you for the reminder that entrepreneurship is not always glamorous. And even when you have a massive following like you do on YouTube, there's still a lot of work and effort and things to balance in addition to that. My question is, something I love about your story is that you, as successful as you are right now on your YouTube channel, this is not your first channel, and you didn't initially have massive success with YouTube. Is that right?
Right.
So for people who might be in similar positions to what you used to be, kind of struggling to come up with content ideas or struggling to gain a following, what is some advice that you would have for them that helped you to turn the corner to find that channel that really resonated with your audience?
I think the big thing is, God, this is hard for a lot of people to hear. I think when you first get started, you'll meet other YouTubers maybe or content creators, and it's very common to sort of develop these pockets of, hey, let's make these little support groups. I think you have to really evaluate who you're hanging out with, even if it's just online, and if you, what's the words I'm looking for? You can keep each other small if you're not willing to look outside and take some critique, because these small creator communities tend to be like extremely over supportive, if you know what I mean. Like they will only tell you how great you're doing when you're not. You'll have to, look at even though I delete comments a lot, I don't delete critical comments unless they're personal, but your audience will tell you if you're not doing a good job, right? You also have to be willing to pick a role model. If you're doing something that already exists, in a niche that already exists, pick somebody or a few people and look at your content, look at theirs and say, what am I not doing that they're doing? Again, not to copy directly, but what kind of video format? How can I model my videos to be different than what they are? That's honestly one of the biggest things. When I was hooked up with these small creator groups and started really looking at what's going on, and a lot of them were critical. It's like, oh, look at what this, talking about big creators. Oh, look, they used the magical this again, which is like a hook term, if you use in YouTube. Like they're making fun of these big creators, and it's like, yeah, but they got it. You don't have it. I don't have it. Why do you want to surround yourself with that? I want to surround myself with, I don't ride somebody's coattails, but I'm glad I was friends with somebody with a 300,000 subscriber following or a 600,000 subscriber following here. Not that I'm just leeching off of them. I never want to come across as that with somebody, but that way you can pick up tips, even if you don't ask, because they don't want to talk about YouTube all the time. But if you're just hanging out in a casual setting anyway, just observe, take some mental notes and see what you can do that's different, or reach out and ask somebody, hey, do you want to do a collab? I think that's probably my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because so many times in life in general, we hear, be careful of the friends that you have, because you become, a product of or a byproduct of your environment. But I've never really thought about that in terms of like your online presence as well, and being, more intentional, I guess, about who you collaborate with and even associate with in general. So I think that that's a great point you brought up.
It's easy to spot, and some of those small creators and groups that I've been in the past, I'm still friends with, because we're growing at the same rate. So it makes sense. We can talk about some of the same things. I've got this couple in New York that we've recently become really good friends. I've never met them, but it's a husband and wife team that makes motorcycle content very similar to ours. We've been on the same trajectory for a year and a half or so now, and we share not just editing tips, but sponsorship deals. We'll share contacts with each other with a warm handoff. Say, hey, if I want to get a hold of this company or this company, well, I've got these guys too. Let me make a warm introduction to see. That's a very healthy relationship. It really helps.
Yeah. Anytime that you can build that support network and be uplifting each other and, going to the top with each other, rising together, that's always a win-win. So I'm glad that you mentioned the online sponsorships because I wanted to ask you in regards to some of your achievements that you have. One of those include helping a sponsor sell over $30,000 in products.
Yeah,
Could you share a little bit more about your experiences collaborating with sponsors and how these partnerships have influenced your content?
absolutely. Once you hit like 10,000 subs, you start getting. I get offers every day, every single day, and most of them I turn down. A lot of them are, hey, we love your channel. We'd love to offer you some hair care products. And it's like, okay, well, you don't love the channel because I don't have hair. You would know I don't have hair, right? But those are funny to me. Temu has hit me up. I don't really want to collaborate with them. I want to try to keep it two-wheel related for the most part. But yeah, that company, I can't monitor sales, but I can backwards. Um, I can backtrack it based off of my commission rate with them to see. I just looked at it last week, and we're at almost $40,000, and this is a light company that sells. They do motorcycle lights and Jeep lights, and I reached out to them last year, and I said, hey, I don't know what kind of collaboration deals you have, but I have paid out of pocket for your product before. I'd love to be able to showcase you on the channel. And the initial deal was, hey, we'll send you one light at a time. And then after they saw that it was going to be a mutually beneficial relationship, now anything I ask for, they send me. And, I honor that by making videos and talking great about them. They're great with customer service. And I get a 5% commission from it. My audience gets 15% off by using my code. It's a great relationship. Another company recently, I did an electric scooter shaped like a chopper. I get a 5% commission on those too. Those are $5,000 a pop. I've helped them sell 6 scooters in the last 2 months. $30,000 in scooters. So those are fantastic. I have a couple more lined up that I'm working on right now. Excuse me. If you're looking to make either a side or supplemental or even main income off of YouTube, you have to be willing to do that because the ad revenue piece of it isn't that great. I might make a little bit on YouTube, but I made 3 times as much from my sponsorships last month as I did from the ad revenue. So as long as it's a healthy relationship, and sometimes you'll get into these and your audience hates it. Like I did an e-bike the other day, and that video is an absolute flop. And it hasn't even reached 1,000 views, which is a terrible performing video for me. But I took a chance on it. I liked the bike. I did what they asked me to. It's just audience didn't care for it.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Meet our expert team at Miss Biz.
Whether you need help with business strategy, brand development, or digital marketing, we have a personalized one-on-one coaching program just for you.
And if you're looking for something more budget friendly, our group coaching services offer incredible value and the chance to learn alongside like-minded entrepreneurs.
Transform your business today. Visit missbiz.com and start your journey to success.
What kind of advice would you give for reaching out to some of these sponsors? Do you send them, is there a certain format? Do you send them an email? Do you send a copy of your page? Like what exactly does that look like?
So it was hard because that lighting company was the first one I reached out to. So I didn't have anything to share with them except for, here's my YouTube channel. I'd love to do some things on it. I paid for your product, etc. Now that I have some numbers to back it up, I reached out to a seat company the other day. It was a warm handoff from my friend in New York. They already had this contact. I told them, hey, I'm excited to work with you. Here's my channel. Here's the scope of what we're trying to do and why we're reaching out to you. I want it to be a mutually beneficial relationship. Here's what I've helped other companies do. and I'll list those numbers out for them so they can see that my audience are buyers. Now, my audience is in the 45 to 65 range predominantly, like 90% of my audience. Typically, that's going to be people who are established and have a little bit of, income to spend. So I think that shows, I think that really helps show the company that you're reaching out to that I can deliver, on an experience for your company and my audience.
I agree 100%. Having any sort of statistics or numbers to kind of back you up just helps to secure that partnership. Absolutely. So family is an important aspect of your life. I love seeing your wife with you and even your grandson riding a dirt bike. Could you tell us more about how they inspire you and support your endeavor?
Sure. Well, we have, so our grandson is also our fifth child. We ended up adopting him, but we have four other kids and ranging from 27 to 18. And I don't know, we always my wife and I have very traditional values. A lot of people don't these days, but, my son, well, just I spoke with somebody yesterday, and they were asking about family, and it's like, man, I want to do as best as I can in whatever I do, so that way my family is proud of what their dad's doing. I don't want to be an embarrassment to them, but I also they inspire me to be the best I can, but I also want to inspire them. It's funny how people are. I guess I have five kids, and they're five completely different personalities. So my relationship with them are five completely different relationships. My oldest son and I don't talk much. We have a great relationship, but we don't need that. My oldest daughter, my 24-year-old daughter, she's a veteran as well. I'm a veteran, she's a veteran. So a lot of times we'll share our experiences with working with the VA, or we'll share each other little reels that have something to do with the military on Instagram. My 21-year-old daughter, she has my wife's spark, her attitude, but my humor. So we can both have the most obscure, unspoken, like we'll just look at each other and know what we're thinking. It's a great relationship. My 18-year-old son, he's very quiet, he's to himself, but we both share a passion for anything that's like Monty Python style humor or video games. And then we got my grandson. He loves motorcycles, he loves football. So now we got him his little dirt bike. We got him in Pop Warner, coming up this fall. So I don't know. It's fulfilling to be able to do these things and my grandson's the only one that really took to motorcycles, but to have him say, I want to ride motorcycles like you and mom, that's fantastic.
That's so heartwarming. It really is. And I love how you elaborated on all of the different dynamics. I know me as a parent, like, it is somewhat one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do, trying to figure out how to reach that child because they are so different.
Very different. Yeah.
But I love the ethic, the family culture aspect of just who you are and how important it is to you, because it really does show through everything that you do. So humor, it appears to be a significant part of your content. I know when I watch your videos on YouTube and TikTok, I am sure to laugh because there's always something going on. So how exactly do you infuse humor in your videos, and what do you hope your audience takes away from your unique style of humor?
I wish I had an answer for that and a formula. I don't. I've always been one of those people, even professionally, that I work better under pressure. If I am on the spot, I can produce. If I'm sitting in the living room or whatever, I don't think I can be funny. And a lot of people aren't going to find my humor very funny. But if I'm recording, or especially if I'm in a feedback situation. So if I can hear that I'm entertaining somebody, I'll try to carry it down that same line until, okay, now it's kind of dead and to switch directions. But I think a lot of my whole side of my dad's family, we're all dry, extremely dry humor, kind of cheeky humor, dad humor. And we do have a knack to kind of come up with stuff on the spot when we need to. And I think a lot of times that goes over some of my audience's head. Like I can tell when people don't get it. Like the comments that I'll have on some of these shorts or reels, they'll get angry about something that I said in humor because they didn't see the subcontext. And kind of hurts me a little bit because it's like, man, either I didn't deliver it the right way or, something. But then, my wife reminds me, she goes, no, not everybody gets your humor. So I just, kind of have to, I don't know. I think humor is important to keep the hook into people when they're watching content.
I think you're hilarious and you crack me up even in conversation. Even in conversation, you crack me up and I can tell like you're not even trying to be funny. It's just completely natural in just your perception of events and just speaking from your heart.
I have a good time with it. I enjoy humor is one of the things I've had going for me my whole life. So I can acknowledge my qualities as well as my faults, and I think that's a quality of mine. So,
yeah. So, what is the best way for our listeners to support your channel or your local business?
Yeah, so if you're into motorcycles at all, I mean, my content is predominantly motorcycles. I do try to take a very I love Florida and everything about it approach in the videos. So it's motorcycles, but Florida man, right? You can check out the channel, Uncle Bogater. See if that's something that you like. If you like that kind of content, subscribe and watch. Watch time is the most important metric on YouTube, not subscribers. Subscribers help get sponsors. Watch time helps get you more views on YouTube, right? On the business side, if you're local, I do only service Volusia County for now. There's some weird rules. Some counties have different business tax receipts than others. Some will recognize others, some won't. It's All American Power Washing, and you can call or text 386-853-4178. I'd be happy to come out and give you a quote on residential or small commercial pressure washing.
Well, I highly recommend to all of our listeners to subscribe. It's Uncle Bogater on YouTube. And I can attest from my friends that he has helped with his pressure washing business that Mike just goes above and beyond the call of duty. He'll even find things that you didn't even realize were there. And he will go ahead and not only just do it without, even expecting anything from it, but he will be very meticulous about doing it perfectly.
If you're going to do it right. That's the way I've always looked at it.
That's right. So we have a surprise for you, and we're so excited to share it with you. That's why there's two Brooks on the screen right now. So we're going to go ahead and share that screen with you, and we hope that you enjoy it.
I hope it's a song.
It is. Brooke, nice. You got to unmute, I think.
I love your guys' songs.
I'm glad someone does. Is he your daddy?
No.
But is he your uncle?
What is happening right now?
But for purposes of this introduction, heck yeah, he's your uncle.
Okay.
Uncle Bogater is the spirit of a true Southern man. If you can name it, he can ride it. Yeah, he's probably tried it. He's a true motorcycle fan.
Once upon a time, there was a YouTube all about fishing. And then he cut the line and changed his social media mission.
It was a really dark time at the age of 41. He tried to skateboard, but it wasn't too much fun.
Then he said to himself, I can ride a dang bike, this ought to go pretty well.
Uncle Bogater is the spirit of a true Southern man. Ask him all about
no, I probably wouldn't do that if I were you. A business plan, a family man. He's got no free time left on his hands.
Make no mistake, after the break, he's gonna introduce you all to the spirit of a true Southern man.
That was absolutely fantastic.
First off, you haven't made money
That was great. The coleslaw thing really got me.
Well, we are so happy that you enjoyed it. It was inspired by Bike Week vibes. So I
Yeah.
hope you caught it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much for putting that together.
Of course, I'll send you the link too so that you can share it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here. One more time for us. How can the listeners reach you?
I couldn't hear her.
Brooke said, thank you so much for being here. And one more time, how can our listeners reach you?
Oh, no, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Rachel and I have been trying to coordinate this since January. So finally all the stars in the schedule aligned and here we are. Yeah, reach out, Uncle Bogater. That's my handle everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok even. Or, reach out for the pressure washing side, 386-853-4178.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciated having you on the show.
My pleasure. It was a great time.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.